Yesterday we talked about the parent function for a rational function. Well, we're going to talk about transformations today. If you look at number 1 here, we have the equation y equals 1 over x plus 2. That's supposed to be a plus. That plus 2, this is like saying x plus 2 is in parentheses when it's in the denominator, is giving us a shift to the left 2. It's taking that vertical asymptote and shifting it left 2. Now I have asymptotes at x equals negative 2, but my horizontal asymptote, here's my horizontal asymptote, it hasn't moved. If I shift this horizontal line to the left 2, it stays right where it is. So it stays where y is equal to 0. What else hasn't changed is that pivot point. That point that, hold on one second, that point on the parent function where we go left 1 and then up 1, that 1, 1 point right there, is still where the two asymptotes cross. Where the two asymptotes cross, we would go left 1, up 1. We would also go, right 1, up 1. We would also go left 1, down 1, same as the parent function. That's because in this equation, we have a 1 up here, no stretch or shrink of any kind. Therefore, to graph, I'm going right 1, up 1. Oh, come on. Right 1, up 1, right here, and then drawing it to the asymptotes nice and tight. I'm also going left 1, down 1, making that point, and drawing it up and over to the asymptotes nice and tight. So the blue graph is that function. Well, let's look at number 2. Look at that equation this time. In the equation, we now have this 4. That 4 is a vertical stretch by 4. Instead of going a right 1, up 1, we're going to go a right 1, up 4. Instead of a left 1, down 1, we're going to take it left 1, down 4. The bottom in the denominator is still a shift left 1. My horizontal asymptote shifts over to the left 1. But you see I'm still not shifting up and down, so y is equal to 0 is still that asymptote. Let's put it all together. I have a shift left 1. I have an asymptote here where x is equal to negative 1. I have no shift up and down, so I still have y equals 0 for my other asymptote, my horizontal asymptote. But now I have a stretch by 4. Instead of going right 1, up 1, I need to go right 1, up 4. Instead of going left 1, down 1, I need to go left 1, down 4. Those will give me those points I need for my graph. Right 1, up 4. Draw it nice and tight to the asymptotes. Left 1, down 4. Draw it up and tight to the asymptotes. And there's your graph. Let's look at the third one together. Now we have 3 things going on. We have here a vertical stretch by 3, here a shift left 2, and there a shift down 1. Left 2, we've looked at that a couple of times. That means my vertical asymptote shifts over to the left, and I get x equals negative 2 for that asymptote. But a shift down 1 means now that asymptote that was here on the x-axis is shifting down 1, and I get a new equation of y equals negative 1. So it shifts down 1, and I get y equals -1 for my horizontal asymptote. Now, putting it together with that vertical stretch by 3, I still start in the center there and left 1 and not up 1. Right 1, I keep mixing that up. Right 1 and up 3. Left 1, not down 1. Left 1 and down 3 will be the points I need to graph. So again, right 1 and up 3, there's the point on your graph. Draw it nice and tight to the asymptotes. Left 1, down 3, draw it nice and tight to the asymptotes. So that's the basics for how to graph with your shifting, translating, stretching, all of that. Now let's look at the second part. Your assignment's going to be the second part of the notes here, but let's do a couple together. In number 1, it says identify the function that describes the transformation from the parent function. We have a vertical stretch by 3, a translation right 5, and up 4. Well, up 4 is a +4 on the end. So I see a +4 here, that's minus. There's a +4 on the end there, that's a minus. So it's going to be between this one and that one. A vertical stretch by 3 is always the numerator. That's your numerator number. So notice these all have that 3 there. Okay, so we're still here between those two. And then a shift to the right 5. Remember that you do opposite in parentheses, so this is the one that shifts us right 5. Therefore, that is going to be our answer. That is number 1. How about number 2? Here's my graph. Let me zero in. Hold on. Look at that a little more closely. I have a shift. Oops. I have a shift with an asymptote to the right 1, and I have a shift with an asymptote down 2. I also have, instead of a right 1 up 1, I have a right 1 up 2. And instead of a left 1 down 1, I have a left 1 down 2. If I put that all together to write my equation, I have x equals 1, a shift to the right 1. I have y equals -2, a shift down 2. And I have a stretch by 2 to write the equation. That makes my equation. Put it all together. Y equals vertical stretch of 2 in the numerator. The denominator, I have a shift to the right 1, x minus 1. And outside on the end, a shift down 2, minus 2. That completes that equation. Now to graph. Let's try graphing on our own. These graphs didn't turn out all that great, but we can figure it out. There's something new in this one. Do you see that minus sign? That gives us a reflection. That means that these graphs, instead of being up here, flip over the x-axis and go down here. Instead of being down here, flips and will go up here. That's a reflection. It's not too hard, you just have to know what to do. Again, we have a reflection, a vertical stretch by 4, a shift right 2, a shift down 1. Let's graph our shifts. A shift to the right 2, that gives me a line right here. A shift down 1 gives me a line about right here. Now a reflection and a stretch. Instead of going right 1 up 1, we want, let me zero in a little more. Instead of right 1 up 1, we need to do right 1, but instead of up 1, I have to go down for a reflection and stretch by 4. Instead of left 1, down 1, I need to left 1, reflect it, so go up, and stretch to 4. Let me graph those points as best as I can with this crappy graph. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my reflection and stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my reflection and stretch. And there's your graph. Now, if you look at the rest of these problems on that paper, that's what you're going to do for your assignment. Finish out this paper and give me good graphs. You can do it on your own sheet of paper or print this out to complete it. 4 through 10 is your assignment.